The galaxy is burning. Brother fights brother, and treason splits the Imperium of Man. This is the Age of Darkness. Whether you're a warrior of the Legiones Astartes, an adept of the Mechanicum, or just a mere mortal in a universe of madness, you'll find a place here. Welcome to the Remembrancers Retreat, coming to you from within the depths of the Vengeful Spirit.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Remembrancers Retreat, a Warhammer 30k Horus Heresy podcast. My name is Jesse. I'm here with Caro, Austin, and Steven.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's all right.
Good.
It's
been fucking exciting.
Yeah.
It has been an awesome 2 weeks to be a Horus Heresy player and hobbyist.
Indeed.
Let me tell you what. The Dark Angel transfers are here!
Yep.
He's so excited.
That's the most exciting thing that's happened all week. End of episode.
I've been waiting for this for
And
a
we're
long
done.
time. Yep.
Roll credits.
Yep. Good night, everybody. This has been another episode, and we will talk to you later. Keep those dice rolling. Thank you to our Patreon. Okay. All right. So, first things first. Transfers happened.
Yep.
It happened real
And you
good.
better pre-order them, too, because you know they're going to go like wildfire.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesse
And knowing
pre-ordered-
you might want to pre-order two.
So
He
I did pre-order two.
pre-order two Dark Angel and one Emperor's Children one.
Yes. So the Emperor's Children returned. The White Scars got a transfer sheet, and the Dark Angels got a transfer sheet. So now I believe that's everybody.
Yeah.
That is
Everyone
everybody.
except Imperial Militia.
No. Solarx. Rest in peace.
Solar
Learn how to freehand noob.
I know how to freehand.
They're humans anyway, so whatever.
Hey,
to be fair-
the Soloxy's got one. Why doesn't the brave men and women of the Imperial Militia get any?
Because they can just use the guard one.
That's true. Still waiting on that guard transfer sheet.
There was one back in the day.
Yeah, well, there were a lot of things back in the day.
I don't know. That Krieg transfer sheet might
There
still
was
be around.
LSD.
I didn't
Zach
realize-
still has one.
I
and
didn't
it's
realize
still
Creek had a
most-
transfer sheet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that answers that question for
And
me.
it's
I guess
it may as well it may as well be printed on gold leaf for how jealously guarded the few surviving ones are.
I know.
Zach has one, and he is almost paralyzed by fear to cut anything out of it.
Well, I know, like the old Alpha 4 size Dark Angels transfer sheet from Games Workshop. Like, people were selling that by the piece. It's like,
Jesus.
come on.
They were selling a single transfer.
If you
Sometimes,
give
yeah.
nerds something cool and then take it away from them, you can make any other nerd in the world pay anything you want.
as someone who buys legitimate Battlefleet Gothic models, yes.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Could have
also-
bought a car by now.
right now. So, that was the first thing that popped up.
Yep. They were real
last
pretty.
Friday.
And then very awesome nightmare beds popped up.
Yeah. The Road to Thramas Part 3 on
Yeah.
the Warcom
It really
site
just restokes
popped
my
up.
hatred.
For
That once again, we have amazing Legion-specific Terminators, and yet the one guy at Forge World that can't sculpt fur got the Space Wolves.
That's because
worst Terminator models for the worst Legion. It's
Yes,
just
Austin.
that's the way it goes.
This
Kill
is-
yourself.
no, this is because the Space Wolves deserve it.
Prospero deserved it.
Hey,
What do you think?
at least cool Terminators came out of Prospero.
That's also true.
Not true.
What you got, Fenris? Garfield looking motherfuckers.
Damn.
What's wrong? Space Wolves hate Mondays.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
I'm sorry, John.
Justin's
fucking-
stunned for the first time ever. He's speechless for there for a second.
If you
Contekar.
if you throw enough Space Wolf insults at the wall, eventually one will stick.
Will it?
Contekar Terminator Elite.
Yes, let's get back to
When
what's
the
important.
8th Legion needed butchers and murderers at the highest caliber, because, you know,
Or perhaps lowest caliber.
I wonder how you measure highest caliber when it comes to murderers and butchers.
I butcher real good, boss.
Yeah, just is it efficiency, number of bodies
No,
per
see,
minute?
the butcher.
Just a yeah?
Well, see, it's like in meat plants. It's more impressive. You can say we are killing 32,000 pigs a day. or 50,000 picks. It's just way more impressive the more you do.
That's true. Quantity has a quality all its own.
It's true. It's true. You just have a certain je ne sais quoi when it comes to
He
being
just
a
learned
murderer.
that word.
It's more like
not 10
genocide,
minutes ago.
qua, if you know what I mean.
But
Yuck.
He does it all the time.
we're not even drunk yet,
Help
ladies
me.
and gentlemen.
Yeah, choke on that milkshake. With recruits taken from Nostrama's ruling elite, they would only fight for leaders they deemed worthy of their attention. In fact, the Conquer's Bad Fur Day would often be dispatched to wrest control from Night Lords whose commanders brought them unfit for the Legion. Thought them, man.
Did you just say the
Again,
Emperor's
he's not-
I
Bad
just
Fur
completely
Day?
butchered that.
The whole
paragraph.
sentence.
Yep. Night Lords are bad. Bad to the
Just
bone.
because you can't speak
Butchers
English.
and murderers. Contekars are the worst among them, and wrest control from Night Lords whose commanders thought them unfit for the Legion. There we go. Armed with heavy flamers or Volkite Cavitors, yet another new Volkite weapon. What is that? We're up to like, what, a dozen now? Different types of Volkite?
Something like that. It's our
Let's find
thing.
out what a Cavator is while you're talking about it.
Yeah, because we knew of Vuglair. We learned that one.
Yep.
Volkir, yeah.
Yeah. Armed with heavy flamers or Volkite Cavitors and Nostraman chain blades, they're going to be bringing abject despair and destruction to the Thramas system. The Nostraman chain blade, in particular, is going to slice through a lot of loyalist space marines.
And it really is. Like,
So we got the Nostraman chain blade. What's the stats on that, Caro?
Well, strength user AP3, but it's melee and rending. And rending will be fun.
yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think this might be one of those Terminator units that can actually murder other Terminator units.
Because it's hitting at initiative.
Hitting at initiative with the rending.
So this is interesting in that it's wholly different from the Nostraman chain glaive. In fact, the only difference is that it no longer gives you a +1 strength, and it's no longer a two-handed specialist weapon. Interesting.
Piece of Terminator war gear.
Neat.
But I tell you what, these guys will butcher regular Marines.
Oh, yes, they will.
There's no
Because
joke
the
there.
Terminator Night Lords needed more help killing basic infantry.
They are striking.
Yeah, absolutely.
AP3
Hey, if you're
striking
going to
initiative.
do something, you might as well do something real well.
You're right.
See, sometimes it's just not enough to barely kill somebody. Sometimes you just gotta behead them in one swing completely.
Ain't no kill like overkill.
Yeah,
It's true.
Did you really kill if you didn't overkill it?
You can take full advantage of the Contekar Terminators by fielding them as additional elite choices as part of the new Night Lord's unique right of war, the Cross of Bone. So, I know we talked about this in pretty long detail on
Amongst
our chat before.
ourselves.
Yeah,
Amongst ourselves. And there seems to be pretty split down the middle between utterly useless and, not too terrible.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it personally, but let's go through it. Austin, you want to give us a rundown?
So, the Cross of Bone, the first thing you get is the Aristocracy of Ruin. So for every non-compulsory HQ choice included as part of this detachment,
Which will just be 2, most likely.
yes, in the normal 3 HQs, so not your compulsory HQs, but the other 2 you take, the maximum number of elites is increased by 1. So you could theoretically, in a basic list, have 6 elite choices. The next you get is the strongest alone. As long as a model from this detachment with the independent character special rule is alone or in a unit with no other independent characters, it gains +1 attack. I like that. It's not what you're taking the right of war for, but it's fun. And at least for me, most of my units do only have 1 independent character in them. And then the Tithe of Gore. Slay the Warlord is worth an additional victory point for a player with this right of war if the enemy warlord's final wound is removed by a friendly model with the independent character special rule. I like that a lot.
It's
a
very
very-
interesting.
It's a very fluffy mechanic.
It's fluffy. It rewards you for, playing thematically, which I always approve of.
Bring that Legion champion.
And there's a lot of times when you're playing a mission and, you tie, you lose by 1. Balls. There's only 2 objectives and I'm not going to get either one. And we're just, how many times are you really playing a game for the secondary objectives? Because the primary is beyond you or your opponent.
It's when you play against Dark Angels.
Yeah, it'll doubly fuck over Dark Angels. And who
We
doesn't
do
like that?
enjoy making them lose.
So there are some limitations for this. The first one is you must take an additional compulsory troop choice in addition to anything else required by your force org. You can't have Conrad Kurz as a Lord of War choice. And then the Rampant Blade. Any unit from this detachment that makes a consolidation move must move the full distance allowed towards the nearest enemy unit within line of sight. If there's no enemy units in line of sight, then you must move towards your opponent's deployment zone.
That reminds me a lot of the Butcher.
This,
I mean, it's what most people do anyway with it. So it's
yeah, but how often do you kill somebody and then want to stay on an objective?
frequently.
Very frequently.
You're gonna be moving.
That gives me an interesting thought. This is a very specific use, right, of war. Despite the fact that most of the things that you can take, like most of the elites that you would want to take with this, right, like Terminators or Veterans, all have Implacable Advance. And do Terror Squads have Implacable Advance? I want to say being a veteran equivalent they do, but I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. At any rate, despite all that Implacable Advance, Rampant Blade is going to carry you off of objectives a lot.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's also
I mean,
kind
you're
of
still
fluffy.
just
you're not bringing Implacable Advance units to hold objectives is what I mean to say. You're bringing them to table your opponent.
Yeah, I mean, it is still just a D6 because it doesn't look like that's my reading of it. I'm sure there's somebody out there that'll be like, oh, well, it's the full move distance allowed. And if you roll a D6, you're allowed, up to 6. You got to move 6. That's horseshit. I don't know who you are, but you're thinking it and you're wrong. You just have to go away. So if you bring a big enough squad, it's not the end of the world, but it's definitely something if you're running this right of war.
You will have to roll the full amount that you rolled.
Yeah, you'll have to go the full amount that you roll. If you do roll that 6, you are a little hosed.
I mean, that's the way I read it too.
Yeah, you roll the D6. You got to go that far. And you got to go.
That prevents you from rolling
But
like
the
a
biggest-
5 and like, yeah, I'm just going to stay here.
The biggest problem that I see with this is you must move the full distance allowed towards the nearest enemy unit or the board edge, right? Now,
The
you're in
enemy's
combat.
opponent.
You get all up in base to base with your nice big squad. You butcher the enemy. You roll 6 for consolidate. What do you normally do? Spread the fuck back out. You can't with this. You must move in whatever,
Everybody's gotta move 6
in whatever
inches.
blob you were in combat with.
I don't know, because it just says unit, not
It
models.
doesn't- yeah. You would still be able to spread it out. I mean, you have to move to 6 inch, but yes, obviously you wouldn't be able to daisy chain.
But you must move D6 in a specific direction.
Yes,
is the problem.
it will force you in a direction. But on the other hand, it's Night Lords. What is the plan of Night Lords? Sharing terror and killing other.
Like if you move up.
Yeah, we got the dice out.
Steven,
Oh, yeah, we're
Steven's,
doing tactics
Steven's
here.
wargaming it out.
I can't see because there's a beer in front of it, so.
I mean, I guess it would
Right,
depend on...
so watch. And listeners at home, watch this as I use barrels to try and explain what I'm talking
Austin,
about. to
please
Steven. Give me those
shove
dice.
the wall over and the beer away.
So, what
That
I'm
beer away.
thinking that this does, let's say we've got our 5 Night Lords here fighting what I can only assume are Imperial fists because they're weak and paltry.
Indeed.
And you annihilate, let's say, we got 2 units Imperial fists, right? We'll call that the nearest unit.
Are the barrels the Night Lords?
The barrels of the Night Lords.
Okay.
Oh,
So, you win combat. You have slain all the enemy. And you consolidate. Oh, look, a mighty 1 inch. That doesn't really help. But still, let's say
it was 5.
some distance.
Yeah.
You then have to go like that,
you don't have
which
to,
is not what you want to do, because what you want to do is take
Spread out.
take an inch or 2, spread out, and then go. But I don't think you're actually allowed to do that.
It just talks
Well,
about the unit.
if it says the unit must move fully,
Yeah, it doesn't say the model.
As long as
Technically,
you
as
get-
long as one barrel moves towards the enemy, you've
All the
fulfilled
way.
the requirements of the rule.
That would be your argument of it. Mm-hmm. Even if the rest of the unit doesn't move at all.
I mean, they obviously.
oh, you
have
mean like
to.
a daisy chain?
Yeah,
Again,
Steven
I
is
would
implying.
say-
Steven is implying that you could theoretically do that, and then move your full distance,
And then
daisy chain, and these 3 don't have to move or could even move away.
Austin.
No, I think
honestly,
you'd still have to move, in the spirit of the rule, I think you still have to move towards the enemy.
The
But you
maximum
could,
allowable distance.
but you could spread out as long as one of them.
they all have to move at the 5 inches.
They all have to move
If you roll a 5 or
the
whatever.
maximum distance on the die, and they have to move in a specific direction.
But-
and I
Well, even
think
if
that
you
hoses you.
Still,
Even if
Austin.
you-
Even if they are, they all have to move 5 inches. It doesn't mean they all have to go to the exact same spot. You can still spread them out.
But you have to
And it
move.
has to be towards an enemy, as long even if
Yeah,
it's not
but-
going directly towards. If I
might
move
even
in this direction,
punch 'em up
it's
even
still
more.
So you're going to play
towards
that
the enemy.
that argument. Is it's not? It doesn't say directly.
I'm just trying to help our
Or Night
cross
Lord
of bone
out.
buddies not
I mean,
get
I could
obliterated
I could
by a
see
militia
that,
strike.
That
later.
argument more.
Also, if you're daisy chain your model in this case, then you're even if it is allowed, it would be a dick move, and we don't like dick moves.
We don't like dick moves.
Yeah, just don't do daisy chaining.
So you're saying
So-
that you could go like that and go
I
like
mean, as long as you're moving
a
towards
millimeter
the enemy.
forward,
No, I mean
5 inches sideways.
No, you
you're
still
still
have to go-
closer.
No,
so
Austin,
you've
what he's
moved
saying-
towards the
closer.
enemy.
So, like, you could move all of the barrels together, right? Or you could take, this lighter barrels, the sergeant, I guess, or at
For
least
everybody watching at home.
the person who's fulfilling the letter of the rule can move his 5 inches up. He can go 5 inches. It's not strictly towards those hapless Imperial fists, but it's not away from them.
But then what's to stop this first guy from doing that? Moving not directly towards, but just ending closer.
I mean, somebody's.
Well, I'm saying, are you making the argument that as long as you end your move, you go the full 5 inches and end your move closer to the
I would say
enemy?
as long as you if the unit, every model in the unit ends their move closer to the enemy than when they started, also using their full movement, that satisfies
but then
the
they would
rules.
still just
Listeners, tell us what you think.
Or Forge World, tell us
'Cause,
what you think.
Yeah, Forge World specifically, because I know you all are listening carefully to what we say here. And yes, I have a paranoid reason that that's true.
I bet
So
This
we'll
is
get
a-
to it.
So here's an interesting thing too, is that unlike some rules which force you to move closer to the enemy, this has no accommodation for must move the full distance allowed towards the nearest enemy unit it can hurt.
That's true. You can
So
also
you could get caught up running after some cast
Run.
flags who are just like, come here, come here, little buddy.
you can just run right at that Land Raider when all you got's crack grenades.
Yeah. Nearest enemy unit it can hurt. Hell, you bait someone out with a Primarch. A whole bunch of Night Lords just ran into Dorn. Good job, buddy.
Oh no, so many cats.
Nom 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 nom.
But
Haha, Dorn is dumb.
I bet with you, if somebody from Forge World listens to this, he's just gonna roll his eyes hard at this whole discussion about moving the whole blob or moving them slightly separate.
That's right. That's what FAQs are for.
It
It's
is
true.
What the fuck?
However, going back to
FAQ,
the general vibe of this,
Anyways, yeah.
that extra troop tax kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's a big
Like
one.
that's a big ouchie.
I feel
because-
like if that wasn't there, I would see
yeah, because you're
this
already
a much better.
well, see, like I said,
I don't want to call it an HQ tax because I feel like most people bring 3 HQs.
A tax doesn't give you any benefit.
No.
This is a option to bring more.
No, you're not required to, and I feel like a lot of people bring 3 HQs, or at least 2.
I always
right?
bring three.
Technically, if you know your civics, you do know that tax actually gives you benefits.
Your civics? Are you talking
All
about a
tax
car?
is theft.
Jesse, are you talking about a car?
There it is, ANCAP right here. We're now the anarcho-capitalist website.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wait, what is?
Hard pass.
I lost my train of thought.
Okay, Jesse.
We were
what are
talking about
civics?
how bringing the
troop
Centurions.
tax. It was the troop tax.
The troop tax I don't like because what you're doing is you're wanting more elites.
You want more elites, right.
You're trying to get it, and anything that takes away points from doing that does kind of suck. It's not a lot of points. You can get 3 HQ or 3 troop choices for what? 300 points?
Yes,
350?
but consider this. You take three troop choices because you have to. Take the absolute cheapest thing you can. Because like I told Mike, Night Lords, their whole shtick is not playing fair. So why would you spend a lot of your points playing fair, quote unquote, by making your obligatory troop choices anything other than MSU? they still have a use. They can sit on backfield objectives and draw away deep strikers or anything that is going to mess with your expensive elites, because you're obviously bringing a lot of them if you're taking this right. So I don't think it's that big of a deal.
It's just, to me, it's just a matter of
It's
now
what?
you're taking
375 points to fill out 3 minimum squad tacticals. That still leaves you.
At the same time, you're now
2,000-ish
taking
points
units
of
that you
elites.
don't. Do you really want to bring? You're only just bringing them to
You're
bring them
for the tax.
not because not because you want to play with them, but just because you sit here because I need you for this cool right I'm playing.
Although, if you are
Such as the price of taking 6 Terminator squads.
if you are playing Rampant
7
Blade,
if you count
or
command squads.
playing this to the hilt, and you know Rampant Blade is going to be pulling you off objectives, that means that those 3 tactical little tiny squads are the only things going to be holding objectives, because everybody else is going to be in combat, consolidating way the hell away.
Wait a second, but
Here's a question. Now I'm thinking about it, because it's every non-compulsory HQ choice. So your Master of the Legion, provided that it's like a Praetor or a Delegatus or a Herald, doesn't count. Well, I guess you could take a Herald because it's non-compulsory. You can't because of support officer, right?
A herald? Sure.
Yeah.
Where are you going
Herald.
with this?
So I'm wondering ultimately if a Legion command squad counts towards Aristocracy of Ruin.
Oh no, because it doesn't take a slot.
But it is an HQ choice, and it's non-compulsory, so you can't actually use it to fill a slot. At least not a compulsory slot.
That is up for debate.
Let me read it again for people trying to keep up. For every non-compulsory HQ choice included as part of this detachment, the maximum number of elite choices available part of this force organization chart is increased by 1.
And they're definitely an HQ choice you can take in the detachment.
But do they count as an HQ choice in the fact they fill a slot?
They don't take up a force org chart, or they don't take up a force org slot. As available as part of this force organization chart.
But they don't specifically say your HQ choice has to fill a slot. Mm-hmm. All right.
Nominally, you could take a navigator.
Yeah, you could take a navigator.
It'd be dumb.
I am tentatively on your side for this.
No, it'd be perfectly fine.
why would it be dumb? You could just take
It'd be great.
Octavia.
Navigators are fantastic.
Well,
50
yeah,
points?
yeah, they are, but thematically, they don't. Really, it should be for every
are you talking
non-compulsory Legion of Stardays HQ. Because why would Night Lords be following around a navigator?
You said they were following him around.
Also, they could also be like a mascot. Just because HQ doesn't mean you actually need to listen to anything.
Navigator is aristocracy.
In
Now-
a sense, yes.
Presumably, he's going to be kind of ruinous. All right. Well, there we
Or
go.
ruined.
Indeed.
Maybe both.
He's
Now, I
soft
have
and squishy.
now a different question. This Rune of Bones, you should be able to use this while you play with a different legion as well, right?
If you do
No,
Shadow
it's
Legion, yeah.
Night Lord's unique right of war.
Yeah, but you could take
But
a
they can
you could take a
take it
Master of
under
the Legion
detachment.
Night Lord in a Shattered Legion list, and now you have access to other things.
So here's another thing with the retinue special rule for command squadrons. A Legion command squad may only be chosen as a retinue for a Praetor or Legion special character with a Warlord special rule, and may not be taken as part of an army on their own. They may take a single force organization chart choice with that Praetor, but do not have to be deployed with them and are treated as a separate unit during the game.
So there's still an HQ choice.
Are they an HQ
It's
choice?
one
or
you can't
upgrading
take
the
by
Praetor?
your. It's one you can't take alone. You have to have a Master of the Legion with them, but they are an HQ choice.
It's that they take up a single force organization chart choice with that Praetor.
Oh, you know
It's
what?
a single choice?
Yes.
Then I would say that
Yeah.
would settle the argument as,
Yeah.
a no.
No, they're not actually an HQ.
Which is a
Correct. They're
shame.
just listed under an HQ.
All right, edit
But-
edit out the past 10 minutes of conversation. We're fine.
All useless. Well, no, it's important
No,
because
it's
some Night Lord's Jagaloon's going to be like, I get an extra one because I took a command
yeah,
squad.
this fucking guy.
Hey,
we've
we
talked
figured
you
it out.
through it, ladies and gentlemen. You have
figured
no
it out.
excuse.
Yep. We're here for you.
Again.
So yeah, it's fun. And
no,
then
no. I have
I'm
a
sorry,
question
we're-
about it.
we're still
Sorry.
good? All right, no, we're good.
So if you have two detachments for, let's say I play the Night Lords and my Emperor's Children, they would still be forced to follow all the stuff, but my Emperor's Children wouldn't. So I could just use them to stay on the
You mean like an allied
objectives.
detachment?
Yeah.
The problem is that an
it's
allied
only there.
detachment is separate
It doesn't have a
Yeah.
right of war, but that's what she's saying.
She's
she
saying
could take
yeah,
Emperor's
it doesn't
children
aff-
as an.
it wouldn't
Yeah,
affect
my-
She
an
could
ally.
ally in her Emperor's children.
Exactly. So the rampant blade would still affect all my Night Lords, but my Emperor's children would just stand there and watch all those guys going crazy.
Yeah.
Why not? It would work
The
out.
Emperor's children watching somebody else
It's
go crazy.
definitely
Yeah,
it's
just let us
definitely a right that requires some thought as to how to use, because a lot of the problems that people had when we were talking about it earlier was that it's so expensive to run all those elites, and there's other rights of war that allow you to run the exact same units more efficiently.
And I will also say, like, we also have no clue what else is in this book. There might be some really good, obvious reasons why to take this detachment,
Yeah,
or this right, rather.
that's true. There could be some
Actually, it says
crazy Night Lord elite.
it says new characters are coming too.
Oh, yeah. I
So
would be-
it's entirely possible that we're going to get a Atramantar as troops character. Really, it should be Sevatar, but you know,
yeah, I mean, the Contekar are the
Atramantar.
Atramantar.
Yeah. It'll be whoever is in charge of them.
I'm willing to put money that Sevatar will just get an updated profile and he can take Atramantar as troops.
I have been waiting for that. Traders starting to get more tradery as time goes on.
Some more nasty
'Cause I
shit.
think theoretically,
Some updates.
apart from word bearers, they still have the like, oh yeah, you can be in the Great Crusade and fight it out and have a good old time.
No, they're definitely...
No.
You can take a look at the units. They're definitely getting more and more brutal late-stage heresy.
Yeah,
Nice,
like-
Please.
nice guys don't wear skulls and skins on their belts. All right?
are we the baddies?
Are we the baddies?
No. They are the nice guys.
Oh.
TM.
Yeah.
You're the Death Head Hussars. It's fine.
I don't know.
And so I guess we wrapped that one up.
Yeah,
In addition...
and we got a new fun tank. Well,
Yeah,
a new
so-
fun weapon for our old fun tank.
Right.
Well,
This
it's
is
still
the
a new fun tank.
new fun tank with a new fun weapon, which they finally reveal a third weapon for the Bombard, the Morbus Heavy Bombard.
It would make me so happy if
Say
it was
this
just a
name
Griffin
5
mortar.
times in a row without
I mean,
Maybe
tying
later.
the tongue up.
Maybe later.
I
it's
saw
it's-
that, Jesse.
It's supposed to be lighter. It's supposed to be lighter than than like a Medusa siege gun. So
Which would be a Griffin.
yeah, a Griffin.
Bring it back. It was not a good gun.
But it was fun.
However, I will say that it looks like it'll be AP2 because it says specifically the shells fired by the Morbus Heavy Bombard bring absolute devastation to even the most heavily armored enemy units.
Yay, more AP2
AP2 or
artillery.
one.
Suck it.
And
And
the
they
Dreadwing can't put phosphex on all of these little guns. I'm going to be upset.
just war crimes. War crimes for everyone.
Super
Imagine
excited.
if fire was radioactive and just sentient enough to hate you.
Oh, but that's fun. I like that
Yeah.
it's got sort of a normal weapon.
Yep. So that is
Normal, quote unquote.
Quote unquote normal. Yeah. Yeah.
Normal in the heresy. We have different standards here.
Yep. So that is the part 3 to Road to Thramas.
Is the Plague Dust Crawler also a new thing, or did I just
It's
never
old.
see
So
it?
yeah, it's in 40K. Came out about a year or two ago.
Yeah, came out with the Death Guard.
Yeah, with the new edition. And
No, it's in the heresy too. It looks like a snowplow.
no, it's not in the heresy. They're just showing that it's kind of how
Our standards are
inspired
different, and our tanks have
Mortarian
armor
was
values.
by
Okay. I don't know. I would like a snowplow.
It's useful for when it snows.
Exactly. But just get an Iron Warrior version of this.
It's probably more accurate to call it a corpse plow in Warhammer. There's
Maybe.
probably you're probably more likely to get corpses than you are snow.
You just gotta find the right planet. Come on.
There's probably corpses all over that planet.
Sludge
That too.
dumped in anthrax.
It'll be fine.
the good shit.
The sludge has anthrax in it. The anthrax has sludge in it.
Oh,
Which ratio do you prefer?
it all smells like chlorine gas.
You got anthrax in my sludge. You got sludge in my anthrax.
All right, so guys.
Moving on.
Yep. So one of our listeners, Graydon, he sent us some homebrew units that he was considering bringing into his local community
Theater.
meta. Yeah, theater of war, meta war. And so yeah, we took a look at a few of these things. Now he just sent me like a recently
Yes,
updated list.
I'm looking at that one. And
And,
there's some fun stuff in here.
Yeah,
and
it's all Imperial Alice militia based.
We do like Imperial Militia.
Y'all know how I love me some Imperial Militia.
I like the first thing right on it.
And also, he would also like to thank Harry Halewood on Instagram for the sweet cavalry rules.
Nice.
Yeah, but yeah. So
Thank you.
Yeah, it's fun because this is actually one of the things I've been toying around with too. Mostly like Providence, different fun Providences, but it's fun. The first thing he's got is an Auxilia Dark Age Walker detachment.
Now this I want to
And-
talk about.
It's pretty much an armored sentinel, which a lot of militia players have been kind of like, why the fuck do we not have an armored sentinel? Like, put a tin can on top of it. Like, it's what everybody does.
Just put a roof on it.
It does have 3 attacks, though, which I feel like is more than a regular sentinel has.
No, it's a small dreadnought.
But it comes stock with a power blade, which is exciting. And it's got most of the normal kind of sentinel-y upgrades. It's 65 points. You can throw up to 5 more in them, in keeping with the regular sentinel upgrade. And it's supposed to represent a whole host of kind of the light walkers, which I don't think has ever been specifically named in any of the Horus Heresy books, but there's been a few like non-compliant human civilizations that have had walkers and whatnot. And presumably, you bring them into pacification, and they're brought into compliance. They're still going to have those walkers around, you know? So this is kind of his view of those.
It's pretty cool, some of the rules they've got in there, and this little fluff thing. Although very few survived the scavenging of the Mechanicum after compliance, some were hidden to be used in the honor guard of some very affluent force commanders, and it has a really cool rule, Weapons of the Long Night. Faced with weapons beyond their understanding, any enemy unit facing a model with this special rule must take all leadership tests at -1. They have stubborn, fearless, or any other special rule that prohibits modifiers to leadership. They are not affected by this special rule.
And I like that, especially for militia.
Yeah, it's
because
pretty cool
they're
and
equipped
fluffy.
with, a multi-laser and a las cannon and all of that. But that's really, for heresy, imperial militia, just sort of a catch-all term for this thing has about this quality of firepower. Right. Like, is it a laser? I don't know. Maybe your autocannon is just a fucking like crazy laser or like
It's
some
just
sort
a
of
shot cannon. It's
Yeah.
literally forks and a
some
tube.
like super light plasma weapon. Like we don't fucking know.
yeah.
So I like that he's got that in there. He's also got the little graviton cannon equivalent that gets hot, which I'm a fan of.
Yep. Precursor graviton.
And for those of you that like a little bit more punchy with your walkers, a combat shield and a pervasive shield, which give you either a 6-up invul and shooting and a 5-up in combat, or the reverse of that. Just, whatever flavor you like. And then the power weapon that it's got is AP2 and strength. Why
Plus
did that
3.
Why did that
Plus
suddenly
3,
get
and they
dragged
already hit at strength 5.
Yeah, they already hit its strength 5. So it's strength 8.
It's a power fist.
AP2.
It's just got a power fist.
It's a power fist that swings an initiative.
Yeah.
For all of you who have taken those close combat sentinels into battle and immediately regretted it,
Yeah.
here's your answer.
this one's for you.
They'll be a lot more fun.
Yeah. I mean, at
Not
front
a lot more
armor
survivable because they're still front side 11 and 2 hull points. Like they're
and
still
initiative 3.
here-
They might die before they get to swing.
They're here for a good time, not a long time. But
As most militia are.
it's fun. And
I mean,
like
you'll still mulch other militia armies because you're hitting at initiative to them and just instant deathing them. And I love the idea of I've always liked the image of killicans. Just little grot robots. And so I equally love an Imperial version of this, just smaller, stuntier robots with chainsaws and lances and halberds, just marching through a sea of soft, pliable flesh.
Yeah. And I like that it doesn't seem OP, right? I feel like a lot of people, I feel like this probably isn't our boys' first time writing new units for 7th edition.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's
Because a lot of times you're like, oh, God, I'm just going to write the coolest thing I want. And fuck it, it'll be 20 points.
65 points seems like a good
It's
good cost.
It's a solidly costed.
for mini dread.
It's a lot of fun. Then the next thing he's got, which is new, is an Auxilia Warden, which seems to be sort of what if Imperial Militia had Centurions? Yeah.
neat.
8-up armor, 2 attacks, guard stats for everything else.
8-up leadership.
Oh, 8-up leadership.
8-up
which-
armor. Yeah, you roll on a d10.
4-up armor.
Yeah, 4-up armor, 8-up leadership,
Let's see,
which
does he
makes
have-
the leadership as good as a force commander.
Oh,
And
this
then
is interesting.
you can give him a bunch of different little roles, like Beastmaster, which gives you
Captured
a new
one
heavy
great
support
beast
option. Like,
This actually
little
kind of
fighting
reminds me
thing.
more of
or Yeoman, which
Not
gets
necessarily.
rid of your recon squad support special rules. You can take them as compulsory.
It actually reminds me more of what are they? The tech priests in Mechanicum that can take a handful of specializations and they get a couple of rules for that, like the Lacrimardis or
Yeah, you can have a better
Alpha
psyker. You can have the old master of the fleet, master of ordnance, I guess,
Voidsman Targeter. Yeah,
because it's calling down that lance strike from on high,
yep,
which is exciting.
that's pretty cool.
And then a
like
breach
it.
master, which I especially like. It's a close quarter zone mortalis specialist. Picked from the remnants of the vanguard of a previous Voidsman shock troop unit, which I always do love. That's how I said my veterans from my old Imperial Guard army were picked. Like, oh yeah, my regular troops, those 4 guys that survived the battle last time, veterans. We're going for it.
I like the balance with the Voidsman because he has this large blast, strength 9, AP 2, infinite range, barrage, lance, and void strike. But you roll a d6, and on a 1, your opponent gets to lay the marker down.
Yep.
Ooh.
Oops,
And it's 60 points, so
Well.
good luck.
I like that.
I do love
that's
that.
an expensive
fun.
mistake.
That is how the militia rolls, and I'm about it.
Yep.
Then he's got an Auxilia hunting pack, which reminds me of the old Kroot Hound units. Well, I guess not old. They're still
A
in
little
there.
bit,
Just nobody takes them.
A little bit like Skaven.
Yeah, the giant rats.
the rat ogres.
Yeah, so you have like some handlers, which are just militia, and then weapon skill 4, strength 5, T5, 2 wound, initiative 4, hunting beasts with 4 up armor.
And I also like to say, on this
great.
PDF, he did a fantastic job of matching the...
Matching the red books.
Yeah, it looks like it came out of Red Book. It's great.
Good job.
absolutely
Good job,
does.
Braden.
And it's 140 points. You start out with 5 beasts, a handler for each beast, and then like the sergeant equivalent. And you can add up to 5 additional beasts for 25 points. What I really like here, it gains fleet if it's charging a unit that took 1 or more wounds or hull points in the current turn. They like smell the blood, and they go a little crazy.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool. Very fluffy.
Nice,
then-
fun mechanic.
If all the handlers and the sergeant equivalent are killed, the beast must move towards charge and attack the closest unit, friendly or enemy.
Oops.
Which I feel is a little hard to pull off if you're trying to kill out those guys. But one day you'll run into that squad of vets with sniper,
Yep.
and all your officers will be dead.
Oops.
And suddenly you'll realize what a terrible mistake you've made.
Yeah.
That's why.
And I mean, you could
I've made a huge
theoretically,
mistake.
yeah, you could theoretically, because none of these things have bulky. It looks like, so you could actually
Load him up.
load them up in a Rhino if you're doing Survivors of a Dark Age.
Can you put beasts in a transport?
Nope, only infantry.
There it is.
Nice theory.
But you could put them in a Gorgon.
Doesn't miss a trick. Doesn't miss a trick.
Could put them in a Gorgon.
The Gorgon opens up and beast just starts spilling. Just
Dogs. So many dogs.
Actually,
Really? Oh
based on the
my God.
stats, I'm guessing it's more like velociraptors.
No.
Dogs
It's
of
just
all sizes. Like some of them are Greyhound size, some of them are Chihuahuas.
Just a bunch of corgis
And the
between
most-
30 and 190 pounds.
the most vicious is the pug.
Just a single pug. Jesus.
oh my god! What chaos beast is this?
Its face.
It looks. Oh no.
Cardiovascular.
Back to the warp with you.
Jesus.
What comes next?
The next thing is my personal favorite in the whole little pile he had going on, and that is the Auxilia Cavalry Squadron. Yeah, your boy made Rough Riders. I love how he put no fluff with this one. In the little,
Yeah.
like for most of these, he's got the red bar side fluff. No, you know what these are.
Like I said,
you don't need
this
the
is,
fluff for this.
Harry Halewood on Instagram
Yeah.
made these. So
What are they?
Cavalry.
boys on horses.
Boys on horses with lances that have grenades built
So
into them.
cowboys.
Or dinosaurs
Yeah,
or large
hussars.
birds. No, cowboys are cooler.
Yeah, but cowboys don't have lances.
I don't know what a lance is. So.
It's like a spear.
Pole arms.
Spear for
Oh, just a
cavalry.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what a
The
hussar
lance.
has. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what they use in the middle age to stab each
yeah.
other.
It's
on
like it's an
horses.
ulan, right?
Yeah. Why do you need
Space
lances?
Ulan.
Why would you have a lance though when you have a?
You're looking at me. Am I
six-shooter?
pronouncing that
Cowboys
horribly
are
wrong?
better.
I don't know what you're trying to say. Do you say Mulan from Disney?
UHLAN.
Oh, I think
Mulan.
we had the discussion already, and I do not know those guys.
Damn it! It's the one cavalry thing Germany is known for.
Dude, they
Death
cheat.
Riders?
We learn about a lot of stuff,
Death
but we
Cavalry,
cannot
whatever
learn
they call
about
it, Death Side.
everything we ever used in a war. There would be way too much going on.
And
be a
yet
whole class
Americans,
dedicated to
Americans
that.
fill the time. Anyway,
Let's not get into that.
so they're pretty much your standard Rough Riders, except they have 2 wounds
That's good.
and our leadership 6 base, 7 with the sergeant,
Now the
which in
question is-
keeping with Imperial Militia.
One wound is for the rider, the other one is for the horse.
Presumably, the horse is more important. Naturally.
Clearly. Bless you.
And then they can kind of do the standard thing. They can take melta-bombs, have vexes, have crack grenades, augmented weapons, or the riding lance, which he gives as +1 strength, AP3, melee specialist weapon, charge 1 use only. The charge special rule just saying, hey, you can only use it if you successfully charge that turn.
What do they have in case their lance does not work?
Close combat weapon.
Oh, I didn't see
An
that.
auxilia pistol and a close combat weapon.
Oh,
Come
okay,
go.
yeah, I missed that completely.
And this is funny because I've actually been working on rules for these myself because as every long-term guard player, like you want the Rough Riders to come back.
They were
And we
think-
actually came to very similar places. Like my Rough Riders are a little bit smarter and 5 points more expensive because they come with the las pistol instead of the auxilia pistol because I wasn't paying attention. Can take pretty much all the same upgrades, except that I took I'm going to call it the more traditional approach. Like his version of the lance, I think, is like the last iteration of a Rough Rider lance. I went back to the old school. So it's AP4 rending specialist weapon. And then you must use it in the first round of combat, regardless if you charge or not. But if you charge, it becomes strength user +2 AP3 rending
It's a bomb lance.
and gives +2 initiative because you're 15 feet away when you stab somebody with it. But either way, I like
Reach.
it. And I like the more of this that gets out, the more GW might actually look at it and go, you know what?
We should bring these guys back.
We have a lot of dumb old stuff we're bringing back just because people like it. And
Absolutely.
by God, if you're bringing back a Zote, give me my Rough Riders.
Hey, I mean, the Death Riders of Krieg still have rules.
I mean,
It's true.
Hey,
and those
book 10.
friggin' Mumak riders or Mukali riders for the Talarn, they're fucking awesome models. They were fantastic.
I mean, book 10 is supposed to be Dark Mechanicum and agents of everybody.
Master, yeah.
Who knows, man? I'll throw
I just
some-
want
throw
30,
some militia stuff
30
your way.
pages of militia doctrines. That's what I want.
I mean, a man can dream.
And then the last thing on the list,
Yep, wrapping
It's
it up.
super cool.
he's got a Auxilia Dark Age dropship, which is 430 points, BS3.
It's a Lord
front
of
side
War.
12, rear armor 10, 9 hull points.
It's like a lightning on steroids.
Super heavy flyer. Yep. It has a twin-linked las cannon, couple of twin-linked auto cannons, 6 kinetic piercers, and everybody knows how much I love a kinetic piercer missile.
Yep. Have to start tallying up those other Lord of War kills.
With a transport capacity of 25.
that's a militia squad and their friends.
Yep.
Some of their
And
favorite buddies.
Access point at the rear. And then it can
You can fit beasts.
dump
in
the
this.
transport capacity to pick up a variety, kind of your
That's the,
standard variety of bombs.
Just launch the
the,
corgis out.
No, that's the Hell Talon bomb. That's
what you need
the
to press
exact
the
list
bouquet
from the
for.
Hell Talon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A bunch of fun thing bombs that you can drop onto folk.
Yep. To a turn. Because
To a
it's
turn.
super heavy bomber.
And then I like Dropship Vanguard. It may arrive on turn 1 either through reserve rules or as if it is chosen to deep strike, which is exciting.
Yeah.
And it's fun. I will say, and meaning no offense, this is probably my least favorite of these. Because when I picture a militia dropship, I picture the Devourer dropship.
Just a
Like the ones from
huge-
Gaunt's Ghost. Like if you
Yeah.
can't drop a full company of guardsmen, why are you flying?
Because it's 25 people and their favorite. It's 20
But it should
guys
be 50.
and their favorite friends.
It should be 50 guys.
Get in, loser. We're going to achieve compliance.
Right? But I do like the idea of a bomber with these sorts of stats. So I would kind of want almost 2 separate things. Because part of the points part of the point cost that you're paying for is to turn it into a bomber. and do all sorts of fun stuff with it, which is awesome.
Well, militia can take the Marauder bombers, can't they?
They can, but I like this bomber.
That's
This is a fun
the
bomber.
Marauder bombers don't have the super cool extra bombs.
Yeah, this could be a friggin' Harbinger bomber. Yeah,
Sweet, sweet Harbinger.
and it would be awesome. Or maybe a Magog from Double Eagle. Yeah.
Nobody read Double Eagle.
Shut your whore mouth.
Nobody plays War Master. Nobody read Double Eagle.
If you have not read or listened to the audiobook of Double Eagle, do it because it's Dan Abnett in the Sabbath Worlds Crusade.
I'm going to segue real hard, real second. First and only, I'm about 2 hours in, and it's fantastic. I just got to the point.
Welcome to the Guard, son.
I just got to the point where they got on the train, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The train.
Yeah.
The artillery train.
I'm sorry. Now back to this.
Austin, I still did not forgive you for the one Guards book I read so far.
Which was what?
15 hours?
15 hours.
Yes.
Well, you started with the saddest one. Well,
No, I started with the
saddest
one.
one until War Master anyway.
Oh, stop. Shut up.
Saddest one-off, certainly.
No. This is the one Austin kept talking about him because it's so awesome, and I read
Because
it and I
that
hate him.
is the Guard.
It's true.
It's trash. Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I don't think I've ever said this to you before, Caro, but kill yourself.
No.
Stirb, Kartoffel. Stirb.
Real concerned.
Yeah.
That was a hex.
This, my dear friends,
That
is
was
a
a
German
hex.
hex.
Fuck.
Hexes
You're
are
on
only
Portland.
hexes
15
are only
hours.
minor inconveniences made to hurt you, but only small ways. Don't worry, you're good.
I'm Catholic. It'll be
It's the
fine.
curses you got to worry about.
It is the curses you got to worry about, and jinxes don't even bother with those.
No.
But
this
go
is a-
read 15 hours if you haven't done that yet. Go read, listen to Gonskos.
Wait, am I supposed to read 15
Sorry.
hours first or Double Eagle?
You probably need to read Double Eagle first because you have done the rest of the Sabbath Worlds Crusade.
Well, I'll enjoy 15 hours too much because it's guardsmen dying.
Oh, and how? It's great. If you love the fact that the Imperium of Mankind is a shit show, and yet still the best going concern in the galaxy, boy, are you in for a treat.
That being said, pulling back from this
Yeah.
segue.
Moving back in.
Graydon, thank you so much. I hope.
Yeah, these are fun. Actually, I want to say, I think Stephen has an event where this might be coming in handy
great.
here in a
It's a
little
great
bit.
segue into
If
this
you happen
plugin.
to be, Graydon, if you happen to be in the Richmond area or able to get to Richmond in a timely fashion, you should come down on July 7th. We'll be hosting a homebrew event. Random doubles event, 2,000 points.
Oh, it's random doubles.
Yeah, I decided
mega
since-
battle.
I don't know where he got that
Oh
from.
no, yeah, no mega battle. No. Homebrew mega battle? Shoot me. Shoot me and then yourself. That does not sound fun.
What the hell?
What's more fun than managing a mega battle for a game you already know the rules to? I know, a game that you don't know the rules to. So no, it's gonna be a random doubles event. I figured because there were so many people who were expressing interest in it, I knew we could scrounge up at least 10 tables, but I didn't want to limit that to, a small number of people.
Gotcha.
Yep. So doubles for maximum fun. You can bring different lists to the two games if you want. You got to stay on the same side the whole time, though.
Gotcha. Yep. And hey,
And you
would
can bring in your homebrew units or things that other people have posted.
Yep. You can bring homebrew stuff that you've written, homebrew stuff that you've pulled out of Mournival, homebrew stuff that we've written.
Although if it is something you've written, you got to give it to Stephen beforehand to make sure that
Clear
you
it with the EO.
know what you're doing.
Well, even if it is not something that you have written yourself, you still need to submit it to me so that I can kind of get an idea of who to pair you up with.
That's fair.
So with that being said, would you add this to the hullabaloo?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good job,
they're
Graydon.
good.
Yeah.
They're good stuff. It'll be in there.
Yeah, there's real cool stuff in there. I
Hullabaloo.
would especially love to see some sort of Dark Age drop ship model or cavalry. I love cavalry.
Everybody loves the cavalry, except for Caro, apparently.
No. I'm just
And the dude's
shaking
getting
my
charged.
head at Hubbalaboo.
Hullabaloo.
Hullabaloo.
Whatever that is, it sounds like you have a stroke, but it's so
So
fun,
ruckus is what it is.
Well,
Damn near a hootenanny.
Shindig.
no, it's not.
I learned about
it's not-
hootenanny.
It's not even close to a hootenanny. A hullabaloo is several degrees smaller than a hootenanny.
Yeah,
a
but-
hootenanny is at least 1 kilo Walmart in size.
Well, you heard it from the man from Texas, so it must be
Wait
true.
a second, you actually use kilo.
Yeah, but
Just-
only
just for
only in
this.
Walmart.
That's like Ditsy.
Yeah.
Nobody uses decimeter.
All right.
It's like how the English only refer to weight, their personal weight in stone.
Yeah.
That's because, yeah.
So I was going to save this for last, but
Dumb
we'll
island monkeys.
What do you say? Remember Titans first? No, we're going to
No.
do this.
Yeah, we're going to talk
Remember
about
Titans. We'll wrap all this up. But
Titans.
first, we're going to talk about Shadow and Iron, Crusades
God
of Vengeance,
damn.
which just dropped out today. At least
for pre-order on Saturday.
No, pre-order for Saturday.
Fresh.
The article just dropped today, this morning.
It made me so happy. I was having such a bad day at work, and then I saw this.
It's covering 3 separate campaigns.
Let's talk about this.
We got
This is also on the Warcom website.
Yep, we are. It's going to be covering Betrayal at Calth, which everybody knows is when the Ultramarines hosted a kegger on Calth and invited some really rude house guests.
But nothing bad happened.
Nothing bad happened. It was fine.
No, just some people
they got
got
their
wrong.
security deposit back.
Spoiler alert, word bearers shat all over their parade.
Yeah, it was bad. Someone, Corferon left a double decker in the master bedroom. it was real bad. But
We're a
ultimately,
professional podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It's fine.
poop jokes. But ultimately,
We don't go blue, damn it. We don't go blue.
Shadow Crusade is the second campaign that'll be covered by this book, which is also another fairly well-known one. After the horrendous atrocity on Calth, the Word Bearers decided to keep up the momentum, but this time they brought their buddies, the World Eaters, with them.
Hey,
So,
guys.
yeah. So they went around, looting and pillaging, maiming and killing and burning and so forth.
As you do.
As one does. And they brought their Titans with them.
That's the tradition.
Now, the third one is one that I've never heard of before, is the Crusade of Iron, which actually I really like the idea of. After Calth, after Pregasius got beaten and bloodied, but did not get killed, the remaining Pregasius princeps got together and said, you know what? That was a whole bunch of bullshit. Let's go kick their asses. So they got all of their buddies together. They got 10 of their favorite friends. They got in losers, and they went to go beat wholesale traitor ass. Near as I can tell, we're going to get 6 Titan legions out of that, which
They specifically said 6.
Yep. Well, near as I can tell because I can read. Judging from the transfers that they've been releasing, the pictures that they've been releasing, and the Titans that they've mentioned in the articles, it looks like we are going to get Metallica, Ignatum, Pregasius, Sutravora, Metallica, and
Sinister.
You said Metallica twice.
Did I? Ignatum, Metallica, Pregasius, Sutravora, Oberon, and Audax. Yeah, they've confirmed Audax. They've confirmed that Audax will have Ursus claws.
Got to say one of those is going to be a
Huzzah.
no because Sinister is going to have to be in there.
Sinister's not a Legio.
The Ordo Sinister?
Not
Are
a
they
Legio.
chaos?
It's
That's
an Ordo.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Are they
So
chaos?
we'll probably get those 6 Legios in addition to, as Austin said, the super cool looking.
This is the
Ordo
sexiest
Sinister.
fucking Titan.
Yeah, I've
love
never
it.
seen a Titan model that's quite. It almost doesn't look Imperial.
It's weird, which I like because they specifically say they use some weird tech to make these.
They-
For those of you that are unaware, the Ordo Sinister is
Psi-Titan.
yes. And by Psi-Titans, I mean its Princeps is a single blank. So someone with no soul, essentially, no signature in the warp. And it's
Like the
got a
sisters?
gun that's fueled by psychers.
Yep. Instead of having servitors or moderati or any of that, it's all a bunch of psychers used like a giant battery to fuel the Titan.
Yep, which is crazy. So the fluff we have says there's either, is it 12 or 24?
At least 12.
So at least 12.
Warlords, right?
But yes,
All warlords.
they've been said to be all warlords. There's supposed to be like a super small number of them.
There's 6 houses with 2 Titans each.
Interesting.
But that begs the question of, will it stay that way?
Well, those are the ones we know that are on Terra. 6 houses, 2 Titans each. In theory, given that we have a whole campaign that utilizes them, it's probably safe to assume that there are more.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. Because like Steven said, we've only known about these 12. They're supposed to be super rare. Some of them got sent to go kick Magnus squarely in the balls.
Oops.
Happened, deserved it. But I always thought it was a little weird because moving forward, if any of you had the 13th Black Crusade book, like the Codex that came out years ago when that happened, they had a list of stuff that was there: Space Marine chapters, Guard regiments, Titan legios, and one of the things listed was like Ordo Sinister Psi-Titans, and the number was classified, of course, because
Naturally.
But that to me does lead a little bit of credence that they're at least in the 41st millennium more than 12 of them. Because there's a lot of places that you would need a Psychic Titan.
They really only ever said that, at least in Book 7, which is where they first appear, Inferno. And then I believe there is a short story called just Sinister that has them. They're typically only deployed 1 or 2 at a time.
Yes.
So even in the Eye of Terror campaign...
I mean, it could have been 2.
It could have been 2, which is still enough to classify.
Yeah.
It's an integer.
But you do get... for that, the way it was set up was supposed to be like, yeah, this 2 pages are what's there, and then every section was like, and for the smaller numbers of units, go to this subsection C or whatever. So there would at least be a demi-legio worth, or I think a quarter legio is the smallest it had, and a quarter legio is like 20 or 30 Titans.
I don't know. Well, it depends on the size of the Legion.
I've done a lot of really nerdy math in the subject, and a quarto legio should be about 20.
All right. Well, I'll leave that to your expertise.
So this will be available for pre-order on Friday.
Yes, and this one is coming from Forge World.
Yeah.
And from what I gather...
7th of February.
So it looks like, if you haven't seen the picture yet...
It looks super cool.
It looks fucking amazing. The head is just...
Blank mask.
A blank mask, which is awesome. It's got the fancy power claw. It's got the fancy...
It's got a bunch of cables coming out of the back, too.
Warp
so it looks like
weapon.
it'll be a fairly large...
And there's
piece.
something over the back, which looks like maybe specialist shielding.
So in the... brings me to the point. I'm very interested to see how this appears on the tabletop. Because in Book 7, the rules for the Psi Warlord, it's like 2 or 3 pages of rules for this thing. And it has a lot of... The most notable thing is its big giant psychic gun, which is called the Sinistramanus Tenebrae, which really just means left hand of darkness. Interesting. But it had other rules attached to it that did stuff like the gun was this big, huge anti-psyker murder thing. And... The warlord itself could cast psychic powers, ranging from steal souls, get hull points back, to everybody around me is scared now.
Makes you wonder exactly what that gun's going to do.
Yeah.
Or what that gun's going to target.
Yeah, and this is interesting because it says specifically at some point here, and of course many other places, is these only go where psychic fuckery abounds.
Indeed.
Like, this isn't one of those things that, like, yeah, it specializes in this, but it'll go fight orcs if it has to. No. This only comes out when your Alpha Plus Psychers are all over the place and presumably in giant demon titans.
It says, this mighty war engine is a terrifying presence on the battlefield, using its psychic abilities to move faster than you'd expect for a Warlord Titan, while devastating enemies with bolts of shadow from its Sinistramanus Tenebrae.
Yeah, I do not like fast warlords.
Yep, they're upsetting.
That's going to be real distressing. However, for
Who
those...
knows how many points this thing's going to be?
That's true. But I do have a glimmer of hope for all of you trader princeps looking at this and quavering. Because they're so specific to fighting big, nasty psychic things, this makes me think that maybe this book will have some big, nasty psychic demon titans in it.
Ooh, I would love that.
In addition to everything else. Or hell, maybe you'll be able to take some greater demons as, something in between a knight and a warhound. Go crazy.
It'd be interesting.
Titan demon.
We won't know for sure.
Yeah, we won't know for sure, but this is just rampant speculation. But I'm all about it. It's fantastic. So not only will you have 6 new legions, but also 6 new night houses, which I think is
if you're
exciting,
into
if
that.
you're into the little guys. But my personal favorite thing to come out of this is...
Say the line, Caro. Say the line.
Fire the Ursus Claw.
Yay! Yeah, you heard it here, probably second or third, if you're paying attention.
No, we probably heard it first, but read it.
That's true. You have heard it here first. You've certainly read it somewhere else. Legio Audax is going to be in, as well as their signature weapon, the Ursus Claw. Now, for those of you who haven't read Betrayer,
Do it.
Do it.
do that.
Then come back and listen to the rest of this episode.
If you didn't do it
Stop,
yet.
do that.
We'll wait.
We'll wait.
Yeah.
We'll wait.
Yeah. That's
All
not
right,
a
welcome
wedding
back.
song.
Good.
That was an
You've
awesome book.
Read it. It's an amazing book.
That book was great.
So Ursus Claws, for those of you that have forgotten that part while reading it, go back and read it again.
We'll wait.
This time.
We'll wait again. No. So what
No,
the
just
Ursus
read it
Claw
again.
is essentially a giant harpoon
Yep.
that replaces one of the weapon arms. And Audax's thing is they're a Warhound heavy legion,
Almost exclusively.
almost
Warhound, if I
exclusively
believe.
Warhounds. And they use this weapon on damn near all the Warhounds. One arm's got that, one arm's got an actual gun. And they come, 2 or 3 Warhounds together, and they fire the harpoon at something bigger than them. And the thing that has been harpooned has a real bad time.
Yep. Highlights include
Getting
harpooning.
electrified
Yep.
and then getting pulled over. They did this to an Imperator? at
Yeah,
one
they
point?
pulled down an Imperator's plasma annihilator.
Shit.
The whole
did.
Legio went into battle against the Imperator, and they all harpooned its plasma annihilator and pulled it in such a way that it faced the ground, that if it wanted to fire, it would kill all of them, sure, but it would also kill itself.
And then they went inside and killed everybody
is
inside to
worth
keep it.
Yep.
They kept it.
Yeah, but it's
An Imperator.
It's a real
Yeah.
fun weapon. I'm interested to see what it is. We've been kind of going back and forth on what it might be, whether it'll have some like crazy rules for like harpooning and staying harpooned, whether it'll just be something that'll give you like concussive and quake. There's a whole bunch of fun stuff here.
In the shadow of great wings.
But the most interesting thing is we're wondering if this will be their Legio specific weapon, which I think is likely. In which case, yeah, or Legio trait or something. In which case, Crusading Legios just got even more fun than they were already because you could just steal it.
Yoink.
And the other question is the Ursus Claw going to be Warhound specific, or will they have a Reaver sized version?
As it stands right now, it looks like it would just be Warhounds.
seems like it would just
In
be
the
Warhounds.
fluff, it would be just Warhounds, and it does make Warhounds real damn good. You know that Steven hates Warhounds with a burning passion. We once again proved that in our game a couple of days ago. that
Oh boy, but what a fun game it was.
It was a hell of a game, but all of my Warhounds were alive at the end of it, and none of his Reavers were.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Metallica.
Oh, shit.
Man, I took 5 Reavers, all with close combat weapons, attempting to close and pull
Oh, you
off some
fool.
heads.
You fool. You know his trick is to get around you.
Yeah.
We were everywhere and nowhere.
Yeah, well, there was a game full of shenanigans, but I had 3 of my Reavers die at the 10-yard line right before they got a charge off. One charge.
He doesn't actually watch football. It was more like the one.
Yeah, I don't know sports. One of them died in the end zone. It charged, collided with the other Titan with its target, and
But
died
was
from
killed in the
collision
collision
damage.
before it could
Before
swing.
it
So
got
it's
the
sort of like a
swing.
safety, but really not much safe.
Yeah, he played himself.
Yeah.
Well, one doesn't get to be a Cornate champion by being cautious.
That's true.
very
That was
true.
said 8 or 9 times that game.
That's how I justified a lot of my choices.
It's true. So yeah, I think you're right. It's probably just going to be a Warhound specific weapon, probably just for Legio Audax, which means Crusade Legios can steal it.
Ooh, there'll probably be an
Yoink.
Audax stratagem focused around it too.
Probably. Bring him down.
But it just makes me so happy that they're like doing this sort of thing. They're serving the fluff. We've been wanting this since the game first came out.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody's like, oh, there are going to be 2 legions in the first book. I hope one's Audax. I hope there's Ursus Claws. You fools, you got to know how to play the damn game before weird shit starts coming. I was right there. I wanted it to be true. Every
super
book
happy.
every book that's come out, I'm like, is it Audax yet?
I'm
not
just
playing Audax, but is it Audax?
I'm super happy to get Sutravora rules because I've been playing Sutravora since the game came out and we didn't have rules, and I haven't really been able to come up with a set of rules from the Crusading Legions setup that I've been happy with. So this excites me.
But speaking of that, I hear you've got Legio that you do have Crusade rules for that you like.
As a matter of fact, I do.
Is it time for another section of
Remember the Titans? They walked around bipedal. They were war machines made by the Omnisaur. They had engines made of nukes and stuff. They had weird religions and some weird cantankerous actions. Remember the Titans.
Again, we will change that if anybody has anything.
Literally
Otherwise,
anyone.
it's just going to be Will.
Yep.
Is it in your brain now? It's in your brain now, Steve.
It is. I was
Be
telling
nice,
Jesse
otherwise
the
I'll
other
sing it
day-
in German.
I was telling Jesse the other day that I was painting some of my Titans, and I kept humming that stupid song to myself. And I don't know in that moment who I hated more, Jesse for writing it or me for remembering.
Oh no! That was completely off the cuff.
Yeah, Will for singing it.
Will sung it.
Did it?
Will may be responsible, but I'm blaming you.
I just strummed a few chords.
He's used to that.
Will added the magic.
Yeah, he did. The dark heretical magic.
Magic is
Anyway.
sorcery, and sorcery is heresy.
What is the what's
All right,
Legio
so,
today?
as usual, Remember the Titans is a segment providing rules for legions in the fluff that do not have rules, using the July 2019 White Dwarf issued Crusading Legio rules. These are a set of rules you can use between war gear, legion traits, and stratagems to represent your own legion. You can take up to 4. You cannot take more than 2 from any one category. Today, we are going to do Legio Destructor, the Steel Beasts. During the Great Crusade, Legio Destructor was a huge legio. Even in the 41st millennium, it's still a huge legio. And they cut their teeth fighting in the Wheel of Fire, which people who are unfortunate enough to like either Space Wolves or Ultramarines will tell you is filled with orcs.
Not anymore. You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks to the aforementioned legions.
Well, the 6th Legion, the Ultramarines, presumably did nothing but polish their armor and dick around.
Well, they get...
But nope. Moving on.
I digress. Legio Destructor is noted for kind of orcs rubbing off on them a little bit.
Hey now.
They are a little orky. They like to close with the enemy. They like to be there in the midst of battle.
Oh, they're kind of rubbing off.
They are so hungry
No.
for battle that actual orcs find them a little unsettling. So with that being said, the theme for Legio Destructor is going to be close range, high yield combat. Really get in there. Explore the space. Make it your own. As a side note, the only noted engagement for Legio Destructor is the Battle of Thermopylae Pass. So guess what historical event it's modeled after?
Tannenberg.
Thermopylae?
Yep, they fought orcs in a pass. Actually, they fought chaos in a pass. A few titans against a huge horde. Hooray. So I was actually kind of thinking it'd be cool to recreate maybe rules that would have been used in that battle. So despite the sound of this, we are going to use the Ferox Light Maniple, which is 1 Reaver, 2 Warhounds minimum. You can add another Reaver and another Warhound for a total of 2 Reavers, 3 Warhounds. The special rule for this maniple is Knife Fighter, and when you make an attack within a number of inches equal to scale, then you get +1 to armor penetration. And within 2 inches, you can choose whether to use your weapon skill or your ballistic skill. That's pretty neat. There's a couple of different ways to do Legio Destructor I found. The first step, though, is to replace some of the Titans in this maniple. So for this, you're going to use Engines of War as your first Legio trait. That is, replace 1 mandatory Titan in a maniple with a different class. And in this case, we're going to replace the Reaver in that maniple with a Warlord. Yes, Warlord in a light maniple. Which means that anytime you are attacking within 10 inches of that Warlord, you're adding +1 to your armor penetration. And if you are swinging with a Power Fist on your Warlord, then you can use its 3-up ballistic skill instead of its weapon skill, which is admittedly not very great. Now, for your second trait, you can do one of 2 things. You can use either the mainstay of the Titan Legions by borrowing from Legio Gryphonicus, I believe. And that is you can replace any mandatory Warhound with a Reaver. And you can use that to replace the 2 minimum Warhounds in your light maniple with Reavers. So now they are getting Knife Fighter anytime you attack within 6 inches of a Reaver, or within 6 inches from the Reaver. You can add +1 to that armor penetration or select weapon skill or ballistic skill. As a side note, in order to do that, you have to use Splinter Legio, which would make you Traitor Legio Destructor. So bear that in mind. If you don't want to play Legio Destructor, then you can play off of the fact that the Steel Beasts are a gigantic legion and use Deep Vaults, which is kind of neat, especially if you are using Warhounds, Reavers, and a Warlord to kind of mix it up and get in close. If a Titan is destroyed without scoring any hits on an enemy unit, so presumably without doing any actual damage to it, shields do not count, then it offers no victory points
Shields would count. A hit.
on an enemy unit.
Yes. If you roll a hit on the enemy unit and it has void shields, it gets to make a void save.
Well, either way, you can sneak up with your Warlord, supported by Hounds. You can sneak up with your Hounds. As long as you don't fire and don't actually do any damage, shooting at you yields no victory points.
And in big games, it is possible to lose engines
Turn 1.
Turn 1. I didn't think it was possible, but Jared proved me wrong there. And he killed somebody's Titan, Jesse. You remember whose it was?
Yeah, I felt like a Reaver's head just exploded within one game.
Conversely, this is also real fun if you've got one of those double-fisted Reavers. Like if you're one of those guys, you say, I'm just going to fucking charge. I'm going to warp missile on top, and I'm going to save for the opportune moment. And I'm just going to run up to somebody and punch him in the head.
When the time comes,
Here's your chance.
Yep.
you'll know.
So, yeah. So if your Hounds get smoked turn 1, turn 2, even turn 3, while they're waiting for the opportune moment, congratulations. You're not giving up any points for it.
I mean, it's fair. Most of my Hounds usually don't fire until about turn 3 anyway. Because turn 1 and 2, they're full striding and trying to get into position and then come up under your shields and blow you to shit.
It happens.
It does.
I've seen it.
He's seen it. He's been there. He knows.
Been there. I was there when the Hounds pulled down my Warlord. Anyway, moving on to your
You
war
were
game.
there the day Hounds slew your emperor.
So there's a couple of war gear options here. Given that you are going to be using Warhounds, I decided to focus between them and rocket weapons for Apocalypse launchers. Given that I normally give you a couple of options and then say these are what I feel are the most appropriate, that's what I usually do. This time you can take them however you want them. So we have a couple of options here. The first one is borrowing from Tempestus's war chest, and that's Chasmata pattern lasers. That is +3 to short range and +6 to long range on laser blasters and laser destructors. Versatile weapons in that all 3 of the Titans that form your legion can take them. Macro magazines is +2 dice to rapid fire weapons, although +2 to catastrophic damage. Again, another weapon that all of your Titans can be taking. And the third one is the multiple warhead launcher, which is +3 dice, or times 3 dice of Apocalypse launchers, granted at strength 3. So that is 30 dice from a Warlord and 15 from a Reaver. Now, I know that strength 3 doesn't sound like a lot, but once you're in close range, within 10 inches or within 6 inches, now you're getting a +1 to it. If you're flanking someone, you're getting another +1, and that's in addition to any damages that they already have on their armor. You can pop those multiple warheads, and suddenly you're looking at 15 shots into a weakened spot. With that kind of volume of fire, you can call your shot to wherever you want and still be pretty confident that you're going to get some hits. Same thing with macro magazines, is that at this point you're using volume of fire, and you're probably within the knife fighting range, so you're getting that extra +1 to your damage. And Chasmata pattern lasers just gives you a little extra range on a weapon that everybody can already take, which is pretty neat. Stratagems. Now, you don't necessarily have to take these stratagems as a part of war doctrine, although I find that Red Skies is particularly hilarious. Red Skies is a... I forget which Legio it's taken from. It's not. It's Dauntless. Legio Dauntless. Oh, I had that written down. Ha.
About to say, you got 2 pages of notes.
Yeah, when you explode, and you probably will because you're real close to your opponents, you add +5 to the scale when rolling catastrophic damage for either magazine detonation or catastrophic meltdown. So you get close, you do your damage. Now you've taken a whole bunch of hits in return. Smash that big red button and take them with you.
Go out in style.
Yep. A warlord detonating on catastrophic meltdown does a whole lot of damage. Yeah. Another one is for loyalists only. So if you ended up doing Mainstay of the Titan Legions and becoming traitor, then you cannot use this. Great Crusade Titans. You add +2 to command checks for charges. Yay. You also count as having moved an extra 6 inches for the purpose of number of attacks. So you're already piling on an extra 2 attacks, even if you didn't actually charge that far.
That's pretty good.
That's a lot of extra attacks at +1 damage. Yep. Because when you're knife fighting, when you're hitting someone in melee, you're getting that knife fighting bonus.
Now imagine that's a 2-fist Reaver running at somebody.
Yep.
It's a good time.
Yep. I find that for building a Legio Destructor Titan, fists and Gatling cannons are real good. Gatling cannons are a fairly all-rounder weapon. They're good at bringing down shields. They're good at doing damage. They come with ordnance, so you're rerolling 1s on your penetration rolls. And especially terrifying if you pair it with that fist. Because, it's +1 accuracy at close range.
Which negates the penalty you'll have for called shot with it.
Indeed.
So you can either let it ride and then go in with your fist for your kill, or what you probably do, pick somewhere with the fist because it's got the bigger strength, beat somebody around a little bit, and then let the Gatling do its thing with plus a couple on the damage track already, finish them right off.
And assert dominance.
Assert dominance, yes. Teabag your opponent.
That's exactly what my Tiny Knight did last game.
He was also teabagging you.
And on the note of that warlord that you switched out one of your Titans for, in Legio Destructor's Battle of Thermopylae, one particular warlord stood out because it kept leaving the battle line to go do one-on-one fights with bloodthirsters. This warlord is the Doom Fiend. It has giant melta weapons, which unfortunately are not represented on warlords as of yet. Yep, Legio Sutervora. So you're going to take a fist and a macro Gatling blaster, and on top of your shoulders, you're going to put laser destroyers. Just walk up, hope that nobody kills you, and even if they do, if you didn't get any hits in, you didn't give up any points. And if they spent all their time focusing on your big, scary Mike Tyson warlord, then guess what? You've still got Reavers, Knights, and Hounds.
Does he also bite ears off?
He does. Yeah.
And solve mysteries.
And solve mysteries.
Oh, yeah.
And raise pigeons, or is it doves?
Maybe
Those
both.
homing pigeons, I thought.
Now
racing pigeons.
Is there a difference between doves and pigeons?
Yes.
Anyways.
Yeah, there's a difference. Pigeons are gross.
They both got wings.
Doves are peaceful, obviously.
There's not a whole town in Iraq dedicated to stealing doves, I'll tell you that.
Yep, it's true.
But
Pigeons
there is
have
one
war
for
in their
racing
heart.
pigeons.
There we go.
Yep. But that's all I've got for Legio Destructor, the Steel Beasts. Go out there, get some big deaths.
Thanks, Steven.
Thanks.
Another awesome segment of Remember the Titans. Folks, thanks again for listening tonight. This was a lot of fun. We had a good show. It was a long show. We're almost running an hour 20.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. First and foremost, we'd like to thank our patrons for supporting our podcast. You guys are crazy, and we love you. Starting with our Sergeant Tier, Duncan, Emily O'Hare, and Travis Smith. Our Centurions, Angry Boy, Derek Knoll, M. Hernandez, Minis by Applesauce, Mark Henry, and John Christensen. And finally, our Praetor Tier. Whoop, oh,
I lost you.
You know, I should remember it by heart now, but regardless, Alex Selth, Chris Mack, Gardner.Tree of Woe, Joe from Music City Heresy, Josh Phillips, and Matthew Boyce. You guys are awesome. Thank you all so much. And if you're interested in becoming a patron, go over to patreon.com/RR30K podcast. And let's see, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Remembrancers Retreat and RR30K podcast. Be sure to check out our website, rr30k.com, which has our Battlefleet Heresy Compendium. Still under construction in some places, but for the most part, it's there. Like,
It's
you can
ready
find
to go.
all sorts
Yep.
of rules for heresy ships. If you have non-heresy ships, that's perfectly fine because we have experimental ship rules.
Woo!
Hooray.
Plug them in.
Because remember, if you want to beat the shit out of somebody on a planet, you had to get there first.
It's true.
If you got any questions on that, be sure to just shoot us a Facebook message would be the quickest way to do it.
Yep, we've got Road Trader stuff coming too, don't we?
Yep. Big fancy road trader stuff.
Hopefully
Fill a
we'll
whole
have it,
fleet. Yeah, that's for next time.
Yeah.
That's for next time. We've gone long. That's for next time.
Yeah, and I don't tout this as often as I should, but you can leave us a voicemail at 1-929-437-3791. That's 1-929-HERESY-1.
Did we ever get a voicemail?
It's been a while.
We got
but
one
then-
from Last Rifle Gary.
Oh,
Yes,
that's
so
right.
be the next person after next last rifle Gary.
But to be
He
fair,
will
I think
call
this is
you.
the first time we've mentioned it in like
No.
3 months.
It's true. I've
I
laxed
don't
on
know.
that.
The last time it was on here, he might. I don't know. Anyways,
But,
call us.
But yeah, I think Alex was the last one to send us a message, and he may be coming to Nova. And Alex, if you
that'll
come
be
on over,
awesome.
it'll be so awesome. We'd love to have you.
Bring me
Every
10
single
tabs.
one of us will buy you a beer. You'll have so many
yeah.
beers, but
Yeah.
you have to drink them all at once.
Yeah, you won't have to. Yeah,
Except
That's
for
when we-
Robbie, who will just give you free Skippy.
That's
And
why we got
Yeah,
to
if you're
the
coming
bucket
from
drinking.
Australia-
bring a small cup.
You
Tell you
madman.
what.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want
Come
Or
from
an,
Australia?
empty, or an empty
Oh,
port
man.
bottle.
and
Good times.
that's going to do it for us tonight.
Yeah.
I will say this: be sure Wednesday night at Nova, we're going to be doing something again. So
Oh, yeah.
Prepare
be
yourselves.
We're also doing Battlefleet Heresy at Nova.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm getting drunk.
I mean, we're all
We're going to do
yeah,
that
that's
too.
gonna happen.
Rest assured.
all right, folks. Have
Anyways.
a good night. Keep those dice rolling, and until next time, bye.
Bye.